was a double one. Interesting. I do like a good bologna. I've been craving the Snoop Dogg bologna sandwich lately. Have you guys seen that? I think we talked about it on the
No.
show before. Oh, you haven't?
Did
So
we?
Snoop Dogg has a cookbook, right? Let me pull up the Snoop Dogg fried bologna sandwich
While
because
you're
I
looking,
got it. I got it kind of as a joke for the wife because I was going through the Walmart and I was like, Snoop Dogg has a cookbook, and then you start looking through some of the recipes and it's like, holy shit, this is pretty good stuff.
while you bring that up, we talked about the cookbook several months ago, and we were looking at some of the recipes in it. But I was at Walgreens about a year ago. About a year ago. And I noticed I was there every day because I go there every morning. It's a building right next to mine. I get Diet Coke and I get some beef jerky. That's my breakfast. Diet Coke and beef jerky. And
Ooh.
I kept passing the clearance section, and it
Clarence?
was Snoop Dogg Rose, and it was like $8.97 or something like that, marked down from like 20. And I was like, I'm not gonna buy this. Finally, one day I'm like, I'm buying it, and then it sat in my kitchen for like a month and a half. And then we got invited over to somebody's house, so I was like, you know what? I'm taking this Snoop Dogg Rose, and this will be a fun gift to give somebody. So now it's like that gift nobody wanted in somebody else's kitchen on their counter.
Do you think they regifted it?
Probably. I hope so.
That's pretty
Everybody
funny.
puts a notch on the bottle, so by the time you get it, there's like 20 notches. Other people have had it.
Ooh. All right, here's a copycat of the sandwich because they don't actually have the footage of it, but this is essentially it. Obviously, he goes with the white sandwich bread, thick cut bologna, American cheese, mustard, and barbecue potato chips.
All
Maybe
right,
we did talk about this once.
now listen, dude. Listen.
All right.
That looks delicious.
Looks good.
Of course, it looks delicious because everybody's made something like this before. This isn't a recipe, Snoop Dogg. Like literally, like here's Snoop Dogg's favorite sandwich. You take white bread and some peanut butter and maybe some of your favorite grape jelly, and you make it. Come on, dude. Like, how hard are you not trying?
It's true. Putting chips on sandwich though, top tier. If
Oh,
you're
it's
not doing that,
top
I'm
tier.
judging you. If we're at like a work function, everyone's bringing their sandwiches in or something, or even whenever I was in school, and I saw that you had a homemade sandwich and you had a little bag of Lay's or something, and you want to sprinkle a few of those, if not all of your bag of chips, on that sandwich, I'm judging you.
Is barbecue the best chip to put on a sandwich? Because for me, I think I go Doritos than barbecue. I think barbecue, I don't know, it gives it a different. Obviously, barbecue on a peanut butter and jelly is probably a little bit rough, but I've had a hamburger that was peanut butter and jelly. So who am I to judge? But I don't know, barbecue adds something to it.
I would say I like the flimsiness and the easy breakableness of barbecue chips. Doritos on a sandwich, while good and crunchy and definitely adds some texture, is just a little tougher to like. Like you might choke on a little corner of one, but with the barbecue, you're gonna be fine.
True. True.
I,
Can we?
I like the saltiness of the. I like the saltiness of an original Lay's potato chip as well. I don't know what it is, because it's usually there. Like if you're the last person that gets to the line of creating their own sandwiches and stuff, everyone's already picked through all the good chips. It's still a good old reliable to good. You can put it on a sandwich if it's still there. Cheetos though, oh my god! If
I
I'm going
feel
to a sandwich place, hot Cheetos even. Oh my land, so good.
Cheetos are good. How do you feel about a good clean avocado, Euban?
You guys should know this answer by now. That's a big fat no.
I brought that up on my radio show in a like tongue-in-cheek kind of way. It's always fun being on the radio because there's things you can say and can't say, and it's funner to say the things you can't say in a way that you can say them. You know what I mean? Like it's so fun dancing.
I always wonder too, because whenever you listen to the radio, because you're always like, did they just say what I think they just said? And you always wonder, like, was that intentional? Are they being facetious?
Ooh, that's a good word. Facetious.
Can't spell it. Can't spell it at all. No, thank you. Not
Imagine
even
saying
try.
that with a lisp.
I do kind of already.
Oh man, yeah, sandwich and chips a sandwich. Baller move. Do you think the kids are still doing that? Do you think it's something that's just in our DNA that says, "Hey, we got to add these chips to the sandwich"?
I feel like in the handbook of being a parent, it's teaching them how to walk, and then shortly after, it's teaching them to put chips on a sandwich. I think there's like a hierarchy of levels of when you're supposed to do that. It's just right after walking.
Nothing.
That be
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. With that being said, when was the last time you put chips on a sandwich? Because I'm trying to remember the last time I've had a sandwich and put chips on it, and now I'm kind of disappointed. I honestly think the last time I did it was when I made the Snoop Dogg bologna sandwich, and it was a hot minute ago, probably a year.
I haven't done it in many years. Several years, yeah.
I'm a fat little piggy because 2 days ago we get lunch meat all the time, and we get having 3 kids and always packing lunches. We get the variety bag of the little small ones that you can throw into lunches, So I'm mixing it up. Now the only thing I've never been desperate enough. Sometimes they get the old gold or not old gold. What's the pretzels?
Rolled gold.
Rolled gold? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, whatever it is. Those will be in there, and I'm always like, it's the only thing left. I really want some chips on a sandwich. I'm like, not desperate enough to break a tooth with pretzels on my sandwich. So maybe a peanut butter sandwich with pretzels.
That would be good.
That would be good.
You ever mix chips? So maybe have like a little bit of some sour cream and onion and barbecue chips potentially on a sandwich. So we do a thing at the house all the time too with the kids where like the other day we had the Flamin' Hot Ranch Doritos or whatever they are, the super spicy ranch Doritos, some pretzels, and some salt and vinegar chips were the ones that we had in the house. And we just did a big bowl, mixed them all together, and just and that was one of our New Year's Eve snacks. The kids love mixing that, but I never thought to mix it potentially like that on a sandwich.
Me neither, but that does sounds tasty. And I don't know what it is, but I wrote it down. I thought about a grilled cheese with Fritos on it. That might not be bad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Put a little bit of chili in there, be like a little crunchy Frito pie.
Yeah, that's when I hear Fritos, I think chili. They have a chili flavored Fritos, right?
They do. You can do the chili cheese Fritos on that. Or I wrote down the pretzel with the peanut butter sandwich. So that's probably already been done before, but I'm still going to try it.
Jelly too? You a jelly guy or you straight peanut butter sandwich?
Straight peanut butter sandwich. I am ridiculed around this house because I'm the only one that does not put jelly on their peanut butter sandwiches. So.
Hey, just there for the protein, right?
That's right. And I like crunchy peanut butter, and apparently that's devilish as well. Sue me.
But if you're not going to have jelly on it, you got to have a little bit of some texture to it. And you grew up with chips on it. I think for you, crunchy peanut butter. I'm not. I'll eat it, but I would be the only one as well. So I don't need to eat a whole tub of crunchy peanut butter. And it turns out my dog doesn't like peanut butter either. So.
Where did you put it? Is this one of those things that we're talking about that we say on the radio?
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's a few things in my life that I really, truly, as a parent, I enjoy, like to my core, and one of them is showing my children new food combinations they're unaware of, and having them say, no, and being like, look, do you trust me? And do you love me? Yes, I pull that card. And if the answer is yes, just try it. And so you hear my kid screaming right now.
Daddy, are you in there?
That was perfect timing.
She knows
I love you.
There's food combinations coming.
Are you making sandwiches without me? I heard you saying something.
I heard you talk about that card. Now we need to talk about it.
Show me the food, Daddy.
Yeah.
That's so my. He was talking about kids doing the. We were talking about corned beef hash there a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
When it comes out of that can, if you're getting that Hormel hash, and whenever you dump it out, everyone's like, "Ugh, what is that?" I tell my kids it's cat food, and then so ever since I started cooking and everything else, they're like, "It kind of smells like cat food, Dad." I'm like, "Yeah, it does. It kind of does." So they think I ate cat food for the longest time, and then I had them try it, and they're like, "I don't want to eat cat food. I don't want to eat cat food." I'm like, "It's okay. Some of it you can eat. It's okay." And when I finally told them what it was, they're like, "Why did you tell us it was cat food?" I don't know. Just bored.
That's pretty classic. When I was delivering beer, there was this old lady. You could tell she was a crazy cat lady. She would always come in to the same place for whatever reason, the same time whenever I was at the store stocking the beer and stuff. Bought a ton of cat food. I'm like, she's crazy cat lady. She's just stocking up on cat food. No, it turns out she was eating the cat food because it was so much cheaper. And that's all she could afford. Apparently, there had to be some mental issues going on. I'm not trying to judge a book by the cover, but if you are getting a shopping cart full of like 39-cent cat food and eating it, I don't know if there's any way that any of us could spice up or the right chip to put on there to actually eat some of the cat food. Never tried it. Have to imagine it's not great.
You know, I love the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. But if you see a book and it says best 10 sandwiches in Missouri, and I open that thing, I better see some Missouri sandwiches. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You expect
Well,
to see.
After all this talk about Friskies and stuff like that, let's go ahead and play a new game of which cat food would you eat if you were given the opportunity? I'm just joking.
So I've eaten dog treats when I was a kid, you know, like as a joke, like those like the ones
The
that are shaped like a bone.
pepperonis?
Yeah. No. Well, let me tell you. Those little like ones that were like shaped like a bone, like the milk bone ones or
Oh, the
whatever.
milk bones, yeah.
Yeah. Not great. Just kind of dry and like it's just very bad. Like this is awful. I've also eaten as a joke on a video because this is the stupidest thing I ever did. I did I hate turkey bacon. I would rather eat the dog bacon stuff. Awful. Awful. It dried your mouth out. Like it literally sucked all the moisture out of your mouth and it tasted like beef jerky made out of God knows what. It was
Well,
Dang.
going back to you, Ben, let's guess the 10 best cat foods according to reviews by Chewy and see if we would eat any of them. Number 1, I'm going to straight pass. It's the seafood, the classic seafood from Fancy Feast. It's a 3-ounce case of 24 for only $17.99, so 25 cents an ounce could feed that lady. It's tuna, seafood, and fish.
Dude,
Ugh.
whenever I used to open up the wet cat food cans and just a little bit of that juice would get on my hand, I'm going, ugh.
Actually, there's one that's cod and shrimp feast, savory salmon feast, and ocean whitefish and tuna feast. If I had to pick one of those, I think I'd try the tuna. It's got to be somewhat close to what we eat, right? I said if I had to. I'm not going out there, everybody, and just, oh, it looks friggin' disgusting.
You are a man speaking from experience, is what it sounds like. You know what they taste like. And we're not here to judge, but we will.
No, I've opened like maybe one can of cat food in my life, and I was like, you guys are going to eat friggin' dry food for the rest of your life.
This is what North Korea is going to eat now because they banned hot dogs. Did you see that?
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they banned hot dogs.
No. Why did they?
So how much was it per pound or per ounce?
It
25
was
cents.
25 cents an ounce.
So how much? Let me ask you guys a question. How much does it cost for a pound of beef, ground beef, for you guys? Even if it's the 73.27 shit.
We're probably like right around $5.
Yeah. Okay. So $5. Good number. That's
Thank you.
31 cents an ounce. It ain't worth saving 6 cents to eat no goddamn Fancy Feast, Mrs. Sargent. You know, like.
Yeah, but she's getting tuna. How much is tuna per ounce right now? She's getting cod.
Okay.
She's getting
Shrimp feast.
yeah. Is what you're looking at? Shipped from Maine.
No.
This is only the fanciest of feast, my sir. This is prime can.
Huh. Look at this. While he's doing the math, did you know that there is a little soup with flaked chicken and a velvety tuna broth, lickable cat food topper?
Big fan of top.
Not liquor?
That seems like too much work. I'm a big fan of Cottonmouth, get that a lot, and that's going to feel like Velcro down there for her.
Yeah.
Stupid.
It's always good when you laugh at your own self and just say,
God.
stupid.
I forget. I'm like, this is going on the internet. This is.
So how much does a can of tuna cost around you guys?
I'd say probably like $1.50. I don't know.
I went up to $1.80 just because somebody said $1.79 for a 5-ounce can.
Mm-hmm.
That is 36 cents an ounce. So there's a difference between 36 and 25. Not enough for me to start eating cat food.
No, not when you're doing 10-cent meals. We got to get Tony over at the Dude Network to start maybe getting some cat food and cooking it up for some of his segments there. He'd say he went over on it the other day.
Oh, do you know
And
what?
I'm like, you got to delete that video. You can't do $10 meals and go over, bud.
It's bad for the brand.
It's bad for the brand.
Bad for the brand.
Do you know what? I think the best way to serve food that would be cat food in a palatable presentation sort of way.
You got to put it in a
would
wrap, right?
it would either be a wrap or a pancake.
Oh,
Make a pancake and just put some you do chocolate chips on a pancake and then flip it. Cat food. A little more batter. Flip it. Oh, gross, dude. Gross.
Like a stuffed pancake.
Oh God.
Now I would do that with bologna though. You put bologna in a pancake? Oh, I'd eat the fat of that.
What would you put on for a topping? Still syrup?
Oh hell yeah!
Okay.
Now if you're cooking the bologna, you gotta if you're sautéing your bologna like the rest of us do, then I think it would taste just fine because bologna cooked in a pan with pancake, it's gonna have a little sweetness to it, a little crispy sweetness and savory. It's gonna be nice.
Interesting.
I think it would fit right in.
The poor man's edition, the poor white guy's edition of chicken and waffles is pancakes and bologna. You heard it here first.
Well, even like the food per ounces, you would think like a package of hot dogs would last you off week 2, and you can get bar S for $1.
Bro, I could eat 8 hot dogs in a day, man. Like without even trying it.
I know, but if you're struggling and stuff like that, I mean, so you're still saying so a bar S that's still $1 a day,
So here's my question to you boys. Take you back to being a bachelor. Take you back to your first apartment on your own, your first place on your own, before you met your wife. If you were unlucky enough to have to go between parent to by yourself to wife like I was. What was your go-to cheap meal to get you through the week when you had, like, say, $10, $15 you needed it to last you for the whole week? I got mine while you're thinking.
Okay.
So I would always take a pound of beef or turkey or whatever, ground beef, ground turkey, whatever, cook it up like you do regular. I would take 2 packets of ramen noodles, and I would take the seasoning of the noodles and I would put it in the beef. And then I would take a bag of Brussels sprouts, which for the record I hate. Okay. And I would boil them in a stick of butter until you could like poke through them with a fork. Like they're like melt in your mouth. Right. And then I would take the beef. I would cook the noodles in the butter water. I would take the noodles, the cauliflower, the beef, and I would mix it all together. And it was like this poor fat man's cabbage beef ramen noodle casserole that while you don't I wouldn't choose to eat Brussels sprouts. It was an extender of the meal that added a crunch, not a crunch, but a different texture and different piece. But anyway, I would eat that for 3, 4, 5 days in a row and be like, all right, with a slice of buttered bread.
Have you made it since those days?
Last time I made it was about 10 years ago, and Lindsay hates it because it's good the first day, but then you eat it later on. Like you eat ramen noodles leftover, and it just gets really gross. It's the noodles become mush.
See, I used to use these it was like the box dinner meals. It was called home style. I think they still have them, but yeah. I can't. I haven't had it probably 10 years just because I got burned out on it. But I would be able to make one of those last 2 days at least, and it was back in the day. You'd be able to get 2 of them for $5. So 4 days worth of meals, and it was like you had a country dinner with biscuits on top, or there was a pasta one. There was different variations, and I would also add, of course, my hamburger helper. I had boxes of that were cheap. Go to the dollar store, get 2 of those for $1. Sometimes they had them on sale 4 for $1. Eating like a king. I wasn't a big fan of ramen, so hamburger helper it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never a ramen guy too. I guess I was lucky in a way that I always had a job that was pretty decent. You know what I mean? I was making decent money. I was making probably more money when I was younger than I am now, and didn't have kids and stuff, so it felt like I had even more. Rent was really cheap, and we just grilled. I was a big griller, and I had roommates. I didn't have a place on my own, just me, for a long, long time. And when I was single and lived in a house that I owned and didn't have any, buddy at the house, I was usually at the bar. So it was just, hey, coming home, raiding a fridge or whatever. But we just grilled a lot, almost every day. Didn't matter, winter, summer, charcoal grilling. Just throw something on there, even if it was a dog or something, Yeah. Sorry, North Korea. We can still eat hot dogs.
Yeah, you can. They're like, wait, hold on. You say hot dogs are banned? They're like, yeah, just hot dogs. Dogs are still okay. But
Did
My
you
friends
see though if they're caught stealing or sorry selling them on the streets or even cooking them at home, they'll be sent to labor camps?
That's why they're called bar ass. Worth going behind bars for, baby.
Jesus.
Um, the but like I always had friends that worked at like fast food and like or restaurants and stuff like that as well. So I'd always hit them up. Like I think we all did, you know. But the I always had hookups at Dairy Queen. So like right before they would
Ooh.
close, I would have like chicken strips for days. And I was hitting on this old sweet girl from the local grocery store deli. And so again, making sandwiches and stuff like that. She'd be like, hey, you know, this stuff is. She'd have like these pre-made sandwiches that'd be like 2 days from expiration. She's like, hey, do you want them? There was this one called a rodeo burger, and it was this like sesame seed bun with cheese and parmesan like crusted into it. So good. Roast beef, barbecue sauce, peppered bacon, pepper jack cheese. I'm getting erect, boys. We need to move on to a
Ooh.
different subject. It was so, I hated barbecue sauce for the longest time until I started getting those sandwiches. Love
Damn.
it now.
Saved you. Huh.
God, I want
Now we just need to get you a mac and cheese sandwich that you'll fall in love with mac and cheese.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't
No?
think, I mean, honestly, I keep trying it, and I might even like something about elbow macaroni is the devil. I don't know what it is. It is not enjoyable, and not even remotely. I've tried it in different things. They're like, hey, you want to have this different type of pasta? Do you want to have this different type of salad? Da, da, da. Ass. It is the worst noodle
Are there any
of
other
all
noodles
time.
you don't like?
A lot of them, honestly. If I think we showed one time a picture of the different variations of noodles, and there's probably like 4 that I with.
So tell me which 4 do you mess with?
I'm a slut for penne. Love me some penne.
It's the same thing. Okay, sorry, I'll stop.
They're not the same thing, bro.
Okay.
They're not the same thing. That is, first of all, how do I block you real quick for even saying that? Let me get
Well,
on.
how do I block you for saying penne? Like
Penne,
it
you
says
so fancy,
penne.
boy.
What is it? How do you say it? Penne? What do
I'm
you
not
say
getting
it?
into this because I say shit wrong apparently all the time.
So it's penne versus penne. It's like
Penne.
Taco Bell versus
Penne.
Taco Bell.
Penne. Hey, it's some penne.
I think I brought this up in the show before, but have you ever heard anybody say Taco Bell instead of Taco Bell?
Yes.
Like
It's just it's a weird emphasis in the word taco instead of
Pinky up.
taco.
What
So
about
it's
do you have a friend that goes to a Mexican restaurant with you and like emphasizes the word like they're from or they like speak Spanish? Yeah, could I have a water and a gordita?
oh, I do that all the time.
Yes.
I'll have a torta with extra cebolla.
My favorite was.
Sir, you said extra. Just say onion. You know.
Senor.
Did you guys ever watch King of the Hill?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Peggy Hill, where she's always like, you know, she'd kind of do that, but she'd always like butcher it so bad. That's how I always like it. I have one friend that kind of does it too. He's always like, you know, can I get a glass of water, por favor? And I'm like, God bless America. That is terrible. I'm like, no.
Por favor. That's pretty good.
But yeah, now I want some chips and salsa too.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking the same thing. Man, this is the show to make you hungry. I don't want to. I need to go back to this North Korea shit because this article from the Sun just keeps getting more and more wild. Because apparently, where is this? Oh shit! I clicked off it. Yeah, right here, thesun.com. It says that there is a tyrant Kim Jong Un, whatever, bans North Koreans from eating hot dogs for bizarre reason. The tyrant has told North Koreans that serving a popular dish made using the sausage is an act of treason. Anyone caught selling them on the streets or cooking them at home risk deportation to labor camps, but eating canines is still allowed in the state.
So what I said wasn't rude. It was accurate.
100% accurate, and apparently it's an example of cracking down on what it sees as the invasion of Western culture, because apparently a spicy noodle soup made using hot dogs or Spam was imported from pro-Western South Korea in 2017. And a vendor in the northern province of, I can't say that word, sales of Buddha, I'm not going to say that word either, it sounds a little racist, and the market have stopped. The police in the market will shut it down. But then it also says that that apparently to couples that are divorcing could be sent to labor camps. The dictator has also ordered divorcing couples be sent to labor camp to atone for their crimes. Don't eat hot dogs. Don't get a divorce in North Korea.
Jeez.
Isn't that
I'd rather
wild?
have the divorce.
What's a labor camp in North Korea like, I wonder? It can't be good, right?
I mean, living in North Korea already is kind of like a labor camp. So being in a labor camp camp's got to be rough.
There's apparently the government maintains different systems of labor camps. It's hard to read. There's a lot of stuff and some symbols and squigglies that I don't understand.
Do you think Dennis Rodman's going to give up hot dogs in solidarity?
I don't think
No.
he's ever going to give up things that are shaped like that. Giggity. Dennis Rodman. What an interesting character.
He seems more like a summer sausage fan than hot dog.
Definitely Hoffman.
Dusting off the old Hoffman.
Jesus Christ.
We're children talking about putting. I wish Burley was here to say that's the name of the episode with a funny like how we're children as adults. We're still putting chips on sandwiches, and we can't even talk about hot dogs without making wiener jokes.
Well, and then you just hear Brandon just, jeez. It's like when you hear all the kids like talking inappropriately at Christmas and everything, you just hear the grandparents, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I can't believe that I am related to this. Or I'm the
Yes.
one to blame at least for this, because if it wasn't for me, none of you little shits would be here. Thanks, Grandma.
That's how my grandma always made us kind of feel. But you know what? It was always kind of cool going over her house for Christmas because she had the little bank envelopes and it was always cash for everybody. So she'd be like, Merry Christmas. It wasn't anything, special. Everybody just got cash, but grandkids got a certain amount. Adults got double that amount. So
Ooh.
that's how you knew that you were officially ranked up, because it wasn't 18. It was when they thought you were an adult, like that you were, it was a sacred time. Everyone getting their amount. I'm a twin, so I'm seeing it. He gets the 50, and I see it. I get 100. I'm like, I gotta be 40 you. And he's just like, what the? You don't work? You don't have a job? When's the last time you mowed their yard, homie? And I was like, I'm the Christmas favorite. I'm Christmas. I had a couple cousins that were in their 20s still too. Bums still got 50.
Did anybody ever go from the 100 tier back down to the 50?
3. Yeah, all the same
Ooh.
family too, because they kept refusing to come over to Christmas. They'd pretty much be like, hey, can I get my money? And they would just kind of bounce. They would never even like hang out. So there were no longer any envelopes. And there was one awkward Christmas where that was explained. And I'm just like, and it was like 2 years after I got 100. I'm sitting there with my $100 bill like,
She just cut everybody's off or just theirs?
just theirs, but in front of everybody. So it wasn't like a phone call like, don't come over for Christmas because you ain't going to have shit. She was like, let's see if they show up, and they did. And they're like, hey, Grandma, and she's like, ain't got nothing for you. I haven't seen you since last Christmas. And they're like, oh, see ya. And I'm like, oh, shit, I love family bonding time. This is great. Over there, like, folding my 100, making sure it's like all crispy and everything. I'm just like putting it in my wallet. And I'm like, see you, Cassie. You're a bitch. Grandma doesn't like you.
Did they come to the funeral?
They didn't. Oh, well, hold on. One didn't.
Oh.
Her name is Cassie, by the way. Big bitch.
Big old bitch.
Oh, hey. Hi, Cassie.
Hi.
You ain't listening, you old hag. I know you don't even know how to use technology probably still, you dumbass. There we go. I got it out.
You got it
Pent-up
out.
frustration.
That's all right. But before we did this, we were talking about the weather, and I think this is funny and potentially intriguing because I was kind of talking to Burley about weather the other day, and then it just absolutely blew his mind. Snow. And I get it. He's from Texas, whatever. And I mean, they shut down if they get a little bit of ice. And he was trying to explain to me, but like, I was sending a picture, like driving home on the trip we had to, it was like a 2-hour trip because the weather was so bad. We had to drive like 30. And I sent him a picture of it. And he's like, why are you out? Like, how is everything in your area not shut? Like, it just blew. He wasn't playing a bit or not. It blew his mind that we were still out functioning. Work was open, having that amount of snow and cold. And he's just like, I don't get it. Like, you guys should be in. That is not safe. And he was like, I think he's terrified of ever having to potentially drive in snow, like scared to death. And the wife at the place that she works, there was somebody that moved into the area. There's a big military base near us, so they had never seen snow, and it blew their mind the first time seeing a snowplow, the first time like having to drive in it. They are still terrified. They've been up here 3 or 4 years, I guess, to have to drive in snow. Like, I mean, think about it. It's weird, I guess, to think about, especially where I live.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned before too. Whenever I moved from Las Vegas to Missouri, it was a real big difference because they used to shut down for having rain because of flash flooding.
Mm.
So I get to school and they're like, "Hey, we're getting 3 inches of rain." I'm like, "Holy hell, we closing this bitch? Like, we ain't gonna have school for a month. Like, this is wild." And they're like, "No, we're still gonna have sweat," you know. And we used to have to drive to a mountain just to go see snow. So we always thought that was weird, but and just talking between us three in our group chats, you know, when me and Brandon were talking about getting, you know, the snow that we're supposed to be getting today, we're like, "Oh man, this is terrible." And you're like, "That's Tuesday. Like, what are you talking about?"
Explain though, like we usually get. I can't speak for where you're at, but where I'm at, we usually get about 1.5 to 2 feet of snow a year, maybe a little more than that. We haven't had any accumulative snow all year, and like even like I don't remember the last time we got a big snowstorm where it was like a foot,
Yeah,
which is big for us.
and usually it's because of drifting. Drifting's the biggest issue that we always have, you know, in the
Like
area.
the race cars, you guys big drifters.
Yeah, it's a big Tokyo storm that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Tokyo drift. But yeah, it's I don't know, like every single time that they'll say like, "Oh, you're getting like 4 to 5 inches," and then they'll drift like 1.5 feet deep in some areas and stuff. But yeah, same thing. Like we haven't really had a significant amount. They were talking upwards of 2 feet, and I'm like, when's the last time we got 2 feet in 24 hours?
Yeah.
You know, unless
That is a lot of snow, regardless of where you live. 2 feet is stupid. But I mean, like you guys are used to snow. You guys have snow plows. They get out on the roads and probably sand and stuff like that. So I mean, like you guys are built to handle it. It's not going to cripple you. It does suck having that much. There's a place near us. It's called Tug Hill, which is probably somewhere that Euban should potentially go. As of yesterday, they're still getting a ton of snow in the area. They had 5 feet of snow, like just chilling there, and they were projected to get at least another couple feet. That's a lot.
Like when you see ESPN talk about these Buffalo games, like, "Oh, here comes the crowd shoveling, the stadium clean." I mean, I'm like, they get more snow in 24 hours than we get in probably 3 years.
Yeah.
That's just nuts.
That lake effect is stupid. I'm not a meteorologist or know how it works, but I just know I don't love hearing those words. Thankfully, we're like on a river, and for some reason it doesn't go along the river too much. So it kind of just stays in the middle of the state and just dumps all over it and then goes up with the mountains and then dumps on them. And we're kind of in the valley or whatever it is. And we don't get it too bad, but we get enough.
Yeah. You guys keep it. I hate this. I've seen a whole bunch of TikTok videos of people in Kansas City and everything getting all that ice, and they're putting on ice skates and skating on the sidewalks to get to where they're going. And I'm like, that is wild. That is crazy.
Yeah, ice sucks. Ice is stupid. What's even worse, too, is when you start to get so much ice that build up on the power lines and everything like that, and then they get so heavy, then they start going down, and then nobody has power in the middle of winter, and that's not a good time unless you potentially work for the power company. Then you're going to make a ton of money.
Oh, yeah. Get a generator, I got a backup one that I've had for, God, like 8 years now, but I got it from a Habitat from Humanity building we were cleaning out. They were like, "Hey, we just need to kind of get all this stuff out of there." And they're like, "If you see anything, offer some money." And I think originally they were like, "Hey, everything's under $5." And usually it was like office chairs and things that weren't really worth, anything to begin with.
Tell me that's where you got your chair.
No, I probably should have. I would have overpaid this piece of crap. But I look under the stairs and I see like a pull cord, and I'm like, "What's that? That looks like something." And end up seeing a generator, and I was like, "Hey, $5." And they're like, "This is more than $5, dude." And I'm like, "Oh, you didn't see it? Can I have it?" It works and everything else. $5.
You got it for
Love
$5?
$5. Love it.
Wow.
And so every time everyone comes over to the garage, they're like, hey, what's that? I'm like, generator I got for $5. That is one thing we do in the Midwest. If we get a new piece of clothing, if we get new anything, we're going to tell you where we got it and how we got it on sale. It's just customary. That's what we do.
Interesting.
You want to know how much that frame cost me? Swear to God.
$3.99.
Like $240. I'll tell you a story after the show.
Not $5.
Oh my God.
My wife wouldn't let me hear the end of it. So for the record, that's a poster that's huge. It's like the biggest one you can get that I know of, like generally speaking. And then there's glass frame, and it's a wood, but it's the cheapest one the place had.
Holy moly.
And I was just too much of a chicken shit to be like, you know what? I'm going to go to Amazon.
Yeah.
There's several times where I've gone into a business and I know that I'm going to walk out with the thing that I want. I'm like, yes, I'm going to get this. I'm so excited. I want this, you know? And then I get there and then I see the sticker shock and I'm like, oh. And then the person's talking to me and I'm like, I'm going to spend 3 times the amount on this freaking thing because I don't want to tell the person no. And I'm like, oh. And I hate the amount of times that I've done something like that. And
I have no problem telling them no.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better, but I've been burned a lot.
I need like a little thing I can like pull out of my pocket and put up and like have Matt jump out in a holographic thing that says no off, because that would be great.
That would be cool. Hopefully, when we invent that and we sell it a lot, we don't lose any money like Haktua and her little coin or whatever she ripped a bunch of people off on.
Listen, the only thing I'm going to say about that is if you put money into a digital coin called Haktua, you are already grabbing ankles, my friend. You are already.
Mm-hmm.
You were done for. They just didn't give you a piece of wood to bite down on.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't read a lot into it. I've heard enough on some different shows and stuff. And a lot of people, from what I understand, like people with money, were using it as a weird, as they say in the biz, a tax write-off, and just thought it would be funny to be a part of it. Like as a joke, like, yeah, I lost $1 million on the old Hawk Tua thing. And it was kind of from what I understand too, just about anybody with a brain knew it wasn't going to go well. So dumping money into it was a way to potentially make her go away from the mainstream media and stuff like that. So, but that's just what I heard.
That makes sense.
Which,
I don't know.
job well done, everybody.
Can you imagine making a whole bunch of money by just saying that you're good at eating kitty cat? You know what I mean? Like that's just wild. I don't think we'd ever get so lucky.
Well, there's only one way to find out, I guess, right?
Let's do it. Hey, what do you do? I slap that thing.
I flick on that bean. You gotta do it, I think, with a weird accent too. I don't know why.
You do.
Did you guys ever see the movie Booty Call?
Yeah, but it's been a long time.
The song?
I don't think so.
You got to lick it before you stick it. Yes. Literally the same shit that girl was getting famous for. They had a movie about and a song.
Really? I don't think
we need a Goot review on this movie.
That's what we need. In-depth review, commentary, and everything.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys? This has nothing to do with licking or sticking or anything, but the weird thing, I don't know why it popped in my brain. Sorry. Everybody's just like sick around me, and I'm sure it's that way around you. It's the time of the year. But every year it seems like it's been the worst sickness ever. I've never remembered people being so sick. Like, is it me or is it just people are sick? It just happens. And yeah, some people get sick and some people get sicker. Like, why is it a thing where it's every year it's the worst? Is it because it's been so long since people have been sick? Because usually it happens, like every winter?
I think, yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're sick, and it's so much worse. Everybody's sick for so much longer. And it's like, I don't know. The flu is the flu, and, this is this. Like, yeah, it sucks that you're sick for that long, but look at your diet. Look at your health. Look at what you're doing. I think that has a little bit. And every single person around you is getting older by the second, and they're a little bit older. So that probably has something to do with it too, right?
Yes. And speaking of getting older, this was a topic that was brought up yesterday that kind of made my head spin a little bit. You guys remember TV Land?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember watching that whenever you were a kid? Remember the shows that were on there and everything? like I Love
Not off the top of my
Lucy
head.
and
Yeah.
Adam's Family, like the
Green
old
Acres
We'll
and
Leave It to Beaver, you know, type of stuff. So they're like, hey, you know what's on TV land now? Everybody Loves Raymond, Friends, How I Met Your Mother. Those are the type of shows that are on TV land now. And I'm like, why would those be on there? That doesn't make any sense. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, oh, Friends is almost, it's 30 years old. Everybody Loves Raymond. Yeah, and that's the age difference of I Love Lucy whenever we were kids and stuff. And I'm like, nuh-uh, we're not that old.
We're the
You
old
can't
people.
tell me.
You know what got me was a couple of weeks ago. People were doing their. We talk about the Spotify bullshit? I don't want
I
to
don't
read
think so.
Was it the wrap up?
The wrap up, and like there was two young kids that are like 25, so they're not young, but like they're young, and they were sharing their like top playlists. I couldn't tell you who any of these people were. Some of them weren't even spelled like real words.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, where's Van Halen or even Lady Gaga or like Adele or somebody I can at least have heard of? Like, who are these people? And is this music? We're old.
Every once in a while, like I try using the what is it, the DJX or whatever on Spotify. So it'll just shuffle some stuff. And lately it's been pretty shitty. It's like, here's what you've been into lately. And it just plays like the same 5 songs. And then you go to the next one. But it's like, I'm going to play you some stuff from the new age. And I'm like, this sucks. Skip. What is this shit? Skip. What the fuck? And like you said, it'll be like Jaden. I know the oldest loves a musician, Jaden, but it's like JX something. And I'm like, it's like, what J10? And they're like, no, it's Jaden. I'm like, that is not how you spell Jaden. There's not a friggin' random X and some characters in the word Jaden.
Right.
I think that's what. And they're like, skip it. I'm like, what the? And then, come on, DJX. At some point, train yourself to realize I don't want any of this new shit. It sucks.
So
yeah, it tries to like push that stuff down to like what's popular around. They're like, hey, this is the current whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Same thing they do is it plays 4 to 5 songs until it goes back into what you like. So I'm like, skip, and then just going back to my same stuff.
So I got to ask you guys, what year were you born? If you don't mind me asking.
85, baby.
86?
90.
85, 80, 86, and 90. One of the things I was explaining to this girl who's my co-host on the show, she's about 24, 25, and she was born in 2001.
Oof.
So one of the things I was explaining to her, and like it dawned on me when we were talking about how old I am and how like it's like not slowing down, like, right? She's like, oh my God, I see these high school kids and I'm just like, they're like, yeah, I'm like, you just wait. But we are going to be, you guys, I hope you understand this. We're going to be the boomers. There's going to be a term for us that's going to be worse than millennials when they call us whatever. But here's the deal. We're going to be more not hated. I want to say hated, but there is going to be the only thing I can explain it to you is when you hit 100,000 followers on TikTok, people look at you different. They respect you a little bit. Like there's something subliminal about seeing that number that means it. When we're going to be 50 years old or 60 years old and people are talking back about how old we are, not only are we going to be considered old, but they're going to be the mind thing of you were born in the 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even going to be we just went through 25 years of this century. But us who were born 15 years before, or 10 to 15 years before the century, we're going to be thought of as old. You know, you're one of those centurions or whatever, you know, like, I don't know what they're going to call us, but.
If that's what they call it, you heard it here first.
Right. But like, no, but that mindset of, here's somebody that wasn't just born in the 50s. This is somebody that was born in the 1900s. You know what I mean?
I like that.
There's some T-shirts on TikTok that I seen that said, born in the 1900s, and it had the Oregon Trail on it. So I was like, that's pretty sick. But I don't know, like we're the dialed up dads, like we grew up with dial up or whatever. Like I don't know.
I mean, you think of the stuff that's evolved though since. I mean, granted, for me, this is the year 40 on this planet or simulation or whatever we're in, and the stuff from, like you said, no internet to dial up internet to high speed internet to the AI, the VR, like we've lived just in the technological stuff. We've lived and we've had it pretty good. There hasn't really been like major wars that have affected us on our, country and stuff like that. Like we haven't seen a world war, American Revolution. Like there hasn't been something that was, potentially a grandfather's grandfather or something lived through. Like we've had it pretty good.
See, and I think when you mention the wars too, I think it's a different aspect for the younger generation too, because they're able to see this stuff on TikTok. They're able to see drone strikes in the Ukraine and Russia, and they were able to see all of that just through social media.
Yeah.
And they were able to access that stuff immediately. While with us, it was very diluted compared to what you were able to see back then. So I don't know. We obviously haven't experienced major wars, through our lifetime. We had tragedies just like any other generations, but
Yep.
I don't know. With the technological stuff, going from Pokemon Red to Pokemon Go, huge difference. Huge difference.
and just, I mean, it's 2025, which blows my mind even saying.
Yeah.
But 2040, when 2040 hits and we're 60 years old, or 65, or whatever.
50.
Like I'm telling you, but I'm telling you, that's when it's going to be like, we're not going to be just the Gen Zers are going to be us, there's going to be 2 other generations after us who are going to look at us like, who the fuck are these old fuck?
Yeah, that's going to suck.
Do you ever wonder what you're going to be like what kind of grandpa you're going to be like or whatever? Because I can't wait for my grandkids to show up and they're like, dang, grandpa's house always smells so good. Yeah, it does.
I want to go hang out with grandpa in the garage.
Yeah.
Grandpa, this was much cooler when it was illegal, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I can talk. Back in the day, you used to be able to get 99 years for having just a bud. But now
Grandpa, why do they call you whacking off?
That's the thing. Grandpa, I noticed a couple old people they call you Eubin. What does that mean? Let me take you back to the good old days.
Ask your ma.
That's right. Oh no, I'll have 3 wives by then. But the money being distributed at my grandma's house and stuff, mine's gonna be like a blunt rotation. Like whenever it gets handed to you, they're like, oh, "Grandpa, am I cool now?" You had to ask. Wait next year. You know what I mean? Just gonna be consequences. Like the cousins do their nature walk. It's gonna be Grandpa's time too. We don't need to go for a walk. Come down to the basement.
Let's be honest, they're going to be pushing you in a wheelchair. Push me down to the shop, you little son of a bitch.
It's wax time. Let's go. I'm just
but
sitting
you're
there.
not even going to need to smoke it anymore. They're going to put it in some container, and there's going to be some wire or tube that comes inside your body that just feeds it to you.
Ooh, like
through,
a smoke
through
IV.
the day.
Grandpa's smiling again. All right.
I went with a catheter. I went straight. Just give me a catheter.
God damn.
Pump it in me. Oh my God.
I don't like that, but
I mean, I would take a mask, an oxygen mask full of that stuff, just put it on there and push me through. Hot box while I'm getting pushed around with the grandkids. I love it.
You ever done something like that? Where somebody has the gas mask thing?
I may or may not have one within 10 feet of me.
I was going to say, come on now. You know who you're talking to,
but
right?
I know, but the problem with that is it doesn't go away from your beard. Oh, fuck. You got to go wash your face.
So what I've noticed too, even I have a paper thin stash, and if I do a wrong rip, and it stinks. So there'll be times where I even have soap and a little shop sink where I'll wash my hands and everything. I got some cologne so I don't smell like it when I walk in the house. And as soon as I walk in the house, they're like, whoa, I'm like, how? I took off my hoodie, I washed my hands, and then I'll sit there and I'll speak, and I'm like, oh, it's still in my breath. So now I have mouthwash, but it still sticks. It stays in the face. So
it stays in the hair.
And even I'll just do one, just a little. I'm like, oh, Dan's in a good mood again. Hey. And they're like, whew. And I'm like, I waited even 10 minutes. I buy some good stuff. Shout out to John.
Hey,
great stuff, John.
Good stuff, John. And if you want to make your mustache smell good, go to Copper John's. Use code BEARDLAW. See what we did there? You could smell like some Sundance. And actually, right now, I think it is, but at the time of the recording, at least, there's a whole bunch of stuff we're getting rid of for 50% off. I personally just bought 6 bars of soap for 50. I love the soap. So we're cleaning up the the older products and some different stuff, and we're going to cut some stuff back. But yeah, if anybody is looking for some discounted stuff, the best part is you get 50% off, and if you use code BeardLaws, you'll still save an extra 20% on top of that. Now's the time.
Snap!
We're pretty much giving it away, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit up some old Copper Johns now. I'm a slut for savings, so I'm going for it.
He is a slut
like
for
Brandon
savings.
called me out for. I'm a slut for a lot of things.
We got to put that on we got to put that on a t-shirt. Burley wants one that says super sober because that's what he's doing in 2025, and slut for savings for the old you've been whacking off. If you want one of those, let us know. But I just looked at the clock for the first time, and I think we should get out of here. This is a good one, and I'm starving, and I'm still staring at the Snoop Dogg's bologna sandwich, and I have been staring at it for way too long. I probably should have closed out that tab, but either way, Euban, Brandon, can't thank you guys enough. For anybody that's still listening for whatever reason, Brandon's got one more thing.
Raise your hand if you've got thick cut bologna upstairs in the refrigerator.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Raise your hand if you're going to town just to buy bologna so I can make the... Actually, what's going to happen is raise your hand if you're sending your wife to town to go grab some bologna. Although it's usually a little more expensive for me if that's the route, because then it's like, well, why I was there, I wanted to make this for dinner, and I figured I'd pick this up for the kids for the week, and then I saw a deal on this, and I'm like, so you went there for $3 of bologna and spent $140. God bless America.
I too know those trips.
At least we can eat hot dogs.
That's true. But no canines. Maybe next year.
On that note, reminder to have your pets spayed and neutered, and don't eat them unless you're in North Korea. That's all we got. We'll be back next week. Okay, bye.
You hit the Bob.